Alright, hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Wild Sparrow and we are talking to the head booker of the company we just did a match for, aka jobbed out to the old guy too, as well as the head booker for the #1 brand in wrestling in this game. Welcome back to Slammed. It's been so long. Now, Dundee is talking to us and he says, Vince, I think you fill the young man's mind with enough of your advice. Dundee taps his cane thrice against the closed door and says, alone at last. I'm Forrest Dundee, although I suppose I don't need to tell you that. Vince has no doubt taken it upon himself to prepare you for me. You lick your lips, best to tread cautiously here. I prefer to make up my own mind about things. Do you? Well, now it appears we have that much in common. That's the very reason I came down here to this little federation. Shit. I don't know if that showed up. Dundee turns away slightly, then looks at you from the corner of his eye. JJ Havoc speaks very highly of you. JJ Havoc. And what do you think? What JJ thinks really isn't the issue here. Dundee shrugs. Here's what I think. I see that you know how to make the best of a bad situation. I can tell that Edward didn't want to lose tonight, likely because he knew that I'd be in the crowd. You handled him well, but I fear that this success will give you the impression that you know what's best for a match, and not someone who's been in the business for longer than you've been alive. Unfortunately for you, the decision was already made before I arrived here. We're in the middle of filming a new show called Near Fall Academy. It's a reality show. It's Tough Enough. They're trying to get me on Tough Enough. You'll be coming in mid-season, so to speak, but I was told that you wouldn't mind having the odds stacked against you. Not if it means a chance that in 3 months' time you'll be living your dream. Dundee notices your shell-shocked expression and the fact that your hands have begun to tremble. So, do I take that for yes? 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 Or yes? Don't know what that was all about. I'm gonna say yes. You're looking a bit on edge. You stop tugging at the collar of your dress shirt and smile sheepishly at Guy Colton. Colton is threading a tiny microphone through the fingers of his huge hands like a hustler with a playing card. Guy Colton had been a promising GWA mid-carder, and now he has a weekly webcast called Curtain Jerker Says, which has been instrumental in catapulting many a guest to stardom. Today, his guest is you. You realize that Colton's waiting for some sort of answer. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing, like, it'd be a bore for you guys if I read the whole thing, unless you guys want me to read the whole thing, though I doubt it. Sorry, long-time watcher, first-time interviewee, wouldn't you be in my place? Is it that obvious? Wouldn't you be in my place? Hell no, I love the spotlight. I noticed that. This can't be your first interview. You're a Division 1 wrestling star after all. Don't worry, I know that's not something you talk about, so I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, at this stage of the competition, the GWA brass wants all of you to look good. So I'm not gonna go into ball-busting mode. I'm here to help. Of course, some interviewees are beyond help, and that can be fun too. Thanks for that. I'm telling you, this is a 3-minute fluff piece, a cakewalk. Tell you what, if we got some time to kill, why don't we just talk informally, off the record, for a few minutes? That usually helps. I'll tell you when we're ready to start recording. Maybe that'll settle my nerves, sure, why not? I expect this isn't the way you imagine you'd get your foot in the door of the GWA, a reality show. What happened to bumping around for 3 years in the developmental league before being brought up for a dark match, am I right? I know, I think the show just means that the GWA is keeping up with the changing times. Fair enough. So tell me, what about your first day at the academy? Off the record, from what we saw in the episode, it was a doozy. 5 weeks ago, Near Fall Academy Week 6. So without further ado, let's welcome Brock Lesnar. I'm not gonna growl because my voice isn't all that great these days. To the academy. You stood in the foyer of a pristine um, you stood in a pristine gym, under the proud logo of Near Fall Academy. It wasn't an easy task, even with Mr. Awesome, chief trainer of NFA, applauding with gusto as if to make up for the reaction of the rest of the audience. Of the other two trainers, only Arn, Dragon Drummer Sai, was clapping his hands. The sole woman trainer glared at you like she wanted to break every bone in your body, but then, that's the kind of welcome you expected to receive from Tempora Atua. As for the other ones, there was some lukewarm applause, but you could tell that all of them, except maybe for a vaguely familiar blonde and the huge Filipino leaning against the back wall of the gym, were less than thrilled to see a new challenger arrive. Some of them were more vocal about this than others. This is bullshit. The speaker was all-in Roderick Lynn, a veteran indie wrestler and somewhat of an internet favorite. He had a physique that mainstream audiences would love and a mustache that they'd love to hate, and rumor was it that, if not for his bad attitude, he'd have been signed years ago. You'd been on the same card a few times, or you'd never wrestled him, and that was enough to convince you that those rumors were not exaggerated. We spill our blood, sweat, and tears here for 2 months, and this guy just walks in here midway and takes up a slot? Bullshit. Cut him down verbally. Ah, you shake your head sadly. I see my reputation precedes me. Did poor little Lynn just see his already minuscule chances dwindle to nothing? Is that what's making you cranky, little Lynn? Say that in my face, you little... Where do you think I am right now, you Neanderthal? Behind your back? Does the fact that I've skipped 6 eliminations give me an advantage? Hell yeah. But if you had an ounce of confidence in yourself, big man, that wouldn't matter, would it? Because if you felt you were better than me, then you'd believe that if it came down to you and me in the finals, you'd still end up on top. But the thing is, you know I'm better than you. You know that half the people in this room are better than you. So your strategy now is to whine and complain, as if professional wrestling has ever been about being given a fair shake, instead of taking what you deserve. Yeah, good luck with that. Well, ain't that something, Mr. Awesome says. Looks like Silvertongue here has a mouth on him. The rest of you all better watch the hell out. That, said a voice from right beside you, was the most awesome thing I've ever seen in my life. You turn to your right and see a young woman in a gray hoodie smiling up at you with a twinkle in her clear blue eyes and a half smile on moist lips. She was slouching, hands in her pockets, and you got the feeling she was trying to make herself look small and unobtrusive, but even with dark rings around her eyes and a complete absence of makeup, she looked absolutely stunning. In fact, there was something about her that looked very familiar. She sighed. Do I really look that different without makeup? The woman lowered her hood, revealing long, luxurious hair that wasn't so much platinum blonde as it was snow white. She flashed you a dazzling smile, and suddenly you recognized her. Evelyn Ecstasy, multi-platinum selling recording artist and one of People's Magazine's most beautiful people for 3 years and counting. Evelyn stuck out a hand. Stuck out a hand. Nice to meet you, Brock. I'm a big fan. Truth. I'm a big fan of yours as well. Why the hell not? She cocked her head to the side. Now that's something I find hard to believe. No less likely than Evelyn Ecstasy being a fan of Wolf Erickson. Is that a challenge? Very well then. Your first ever match was against Larry Lance. You've been wrestling for the past 2 years with BWF, and your entrance theme is Broken Shell. Ha! Bet you can't name as many facts about me. Your real name is Evelyn Bridges. Your first single was Split My Heart, and you've gone through 4 boyfriends in the past 2 years. Hey, Taylor doesn't count. 2 trips to Maui together says Taylor counts. Well, you really are a fan. That's actually quite flattering. I can imagine you must have taken some heat backstage for being a fan of bubblegum pop. Not really. You'd be amazed what people let you get away with when they know you can kick their ass because they have bad taste in music. If the 2 lovebirds in the back would like to break it up, I think it's time we all headed back to the house. Evelyn? What? Evelyn gave you a sheepish but not contrite shrug. Come on, let's get you settled in. They told us that they expected tensions to run high, so they wanted to be sure that we had some privacy for venting and detox. There are a few other areas that are camera free as well, like the clinic and, well, the bathroom, obviously. That's. You don't actually believe the rooms are camera free, do you? I don't blame you for doubting that, but trust me, I think they're being sincere. It was in the contract, after all. You'd have to take her word for it. The legalese had gone over your head. Besides, for a shot at the GWA, you would have signed that with your own blood. You got bad luck with your neighbors. Zeus is fine, but I swear Velma Ray turns into a chainsaw at night. Where are you staying? Well, I guess you didn't completely strike out in the neighbor department. In the interest of being a good neighbor, do you have any questions? I'm not sure how much they told you about the show before bringing you in, but in practice, things may be a bit different. You decide to ask. Who's the front runner? That depends on who you ask. Roderick thinks that they should just crown him, use the rest of the episode to show his highlight reels. Does he have the skills to support his big head? He's good, no question. As long as the challenge is to his taste. I mean, he wouldn't look out of place in a GWA ring, but he's never going to be as big a star as he thinks he should be. I mean, Kale's got a lot of technical skills. He's allergic to anything that reeks of showmanship. All around, I think Meiko is the best wrestler in the academy, and as Princess Reaper, she's totally over in Japan, but she's still learning English. I guess, in the end, it depends on what they're looking for. The trainers loved Ronnie, but he had to pull out because of an injury. Lawler's got that great paranoid survivalist gimmick. Manuel and Velma are already breaking hearts. And Zeus is so strong that they'd be idiots not to sign him even if he doesn't win. I see you mentioned everyone except yourself. You can't be frontrunner if no one expects you to win once the online voting portion is removed for the finals. How does the elimination process work? I know the criteria. A regular evaluation and until the semifinals with 50% from online voting, 20% from a challenge, and 10 each from the trainers, but that doesn't tell me how it really works. Well, the first thing is that they don't have to cut just one each week. The second is that the trainers are so stingy with their points that it really just comes down to the challenge and the online vote. Do you have a Toutler account or anything like that? Is that like a bank? It doesn't matter. They'll have set a new one up for you and they won't let you use your old one. I'm the one exception because apparently the record company threw a fit. You'll find the login details in the computer in your room. It's not required, but if you don't interact with fans online, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Unless you tend to rub people the wrong way, in which case the less said, the better. How will they determine the final winner? Like pay-per-view. Last one standing, the difference being that once we hit the finals, the criteria changes. No votes. They're not saying what'll replace it, but I'm assuming that's when the GWA top brass get their say. Your conversation with Evelyn is interrupted by a scornful voice. Well, Ecstasy, that didn't take you long. A trio of wrestlers was walking down the hall towards you. 2 men and a woman. The speaker was a shirtless Brazilian, Manuel, who as Rasteira was a regular on the indie circuit. The woman was a tall, full-figured blonde who you pegged to be a southern belle before she even opened her mouth. The larger man was an old acquaintance, Cale King, an amateur wrestler from St. Bronze. Not many sugar. Oh, come on, Velma. You think it's a coincidence that this starlet ingratiates herself to Ronnie, milks him for all he knows, and then, when it looks like Ronnie's pulling away from the pack, bam! Ronnie falls down the stairs. He was drunk, you idiot, and I was in bed. Ronnie could hold his liquor. It must have been spiked. And who was it who usually drank with him? Manuel, come on. Lawler's supposed to be the paranoid one. It's not paranoia if someone's really out to get you. First it was Skip with the food poisoning, then the top rope giving way when Nitro went for his springboard moonsault. Each time someone stands out on this show. You piece of... I'm gonna push. Oh, you want to start something, do ya? You started doing capoeira. In case you don't know, capoeira is more of a dance than a fight. And I'm gonna pause this fight right here because I'm getting hot-headed, and Manuel is not gonna disturb me. So, next episode of Slammed, we are gonna continue this fight if it does continue. So, if this guy wants to fight, I'll throw down. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Are you happy that this is back? Come on, I'm happy that this is back. I like this. I miss this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.